Hi guys, JNewtz here. Growing up, I was always told to never say the C word. It's the worst word that you can use in the English language. Well, people, there is a new C word and we need to stop using it right now. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get into this. The C word. I'm not talking about the four-letter word that most people would assume I am. I'm talking about the longer word, which has an abbreviation code with numbers behind it. Now, I personally refuse to mention it. And I'll tell you why I refuse to mention it. Because over the past 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even 5 weeks now, we have been brainwashed. That's right, we have been brainwashed. Every time there is a news or current affair program on the TV or the radio, people are talking on the radio, people are talking in all these different talk shows around the world, whether it be here on YouTube, on the media, everywhere around the world, is mentioning the C word all the time. In fact, I've noticed that when you watch the news or listen to the news, they will say that C word every 30 to 45 seconds. Now, I've noticed this for the past 5 weeks. Now, I personally don't watch the news, but my father watches it all the time. And I noticed a while ago that the media was always talking about the C word again and again and again and again. And I thought to myself, it's almost like they're trying to make us really believe what's going on and really take this thing into our subconscious minds. Well, guess what? It finally happened. And the results of this, of course, have been mad spread panic buying and fear among the population, not only here in Australia where I live, but across the entire globe. Now, over the years, I've done lots of personal development. I've done life coaching, I've done business coaching, I've heard all the fantastic sayings that you can hear, I've read all these fantastic motivational books. And one of the things that has always stuck in me is about learning. The key to learning, the secret to learning anything is repetition. The more you read something, the more you hear something, or the more you say something, the quicker and the faster you learn it and retain it. Now, have a think about that. If I tell you every single day or every 30 seconds a statement, the first few times you might think, whatever, I'm not paying attention to that. But if I tell you that every single day, every 30 to 45 seconds, again and again, day after day, week after week, after a while, you're going to start believing it. You're going to start talking about it. It's going to encompass your body and become a part of your reality. It takes 21 days, on average, 21 days to form a new habit. And then after that, of course, you need to make sure that the habit continues. Now, I think in Australia, we're up to at least week 5. Week 5, as of today, maybe even week 6, I'm not too sure, I've lost count, of this constant repetition. So basically what's happened is we have all formed a new habit. The habit is thinking and talking and embodying the C word. And how has that played out in society? Well, of course, we have seen absolute widespread panic. People are fearful. People are panicking. In fact, people are fearing fear itself. We can see this. The first thing to have happened, of course, was all of a sudden people started to buy toilet paper for a virus. That's right. A virus which is essentially a very bad case of the flu. Now think about that. Whenever you've had a cold or a flu in the past, how often have you needed toilet paper? That's right. If anything, you have a runny nose and a sore throat rather than a runny ass. It's not gastro, you don't get diarrhea, it's a cold or a flu. So the whole thing about toilet paper always really threw me off. This panic buying started after about 3 or 4 weeks of constant repetition of the C word. Do you see the pattern here? Now, if you're one of the people that hasn't bought into that panic and widespread bullshit, then I applaud you, I commend you. You are joining the ranks of maybe a small part of society who have actually still got their absolute fucking sanity. I've actually had people abuse me for not buying into the panic myself. You need to take this thing seriously, it can kill us all. Well, a few things here. Number one, trying to convince people into joining the panic is like trying to convince an adult that Santa Claus exists. Have a think about that. Oh, everyone's really panicking, you need to come up and buy things as well. Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, Santa Claus is real, you have to believe. Fuck off. It doesn't work like that. Now, I touched upon something before. It's a virus. Think about that. It's a virus. It's not the plague. People are saying that this is a life-threatening virus. Now, you know what? For some people with respiratory problems or weak immune systems, yes, it probably is a life-threatening virus. But guess what? So is the cold and the flu. The cold and the flu kill hundreds of thousands of people every single year. If you've got pneumonia, for example, and you've got a weak immune system, if you get a flu on top of that, chances are very high that you will pass away, no matter how old you are. It can be the same thing with the C word virus. If it was a deadly virus, then it wouldn't be a virus, it would be a plague. Because a plague will wipe out almost fucking everybody. So have a think about that. It's a virus, not the plague. Now, naturally, there are a few things that need to be taken seriously at this particular time, and in some ways it's a good reminder for humanity in general about one thing: hygiene. Now, let me explain what I actually mean by that. You probably have already got a bit of an idea anyway. I have seen on numerous occasions people that just do not practice good hygiene at all. I personally know people who maybe shower once every 2 days. They are filthy. People that don't brush their teeth. People that do not wash their hands. And it is staggering the amount of people that do not wash their hands after going to the toilets. Not just in their own home, but out on the streets as well, in public places, cafes, bars, restaurants, and so forth. And those people are fucking disgusting human beings. This is obviously a bit of a two-way thing. If I have a shower in the morning, I know that I'm clean. I can go off to a restaurant straight away, and I might need to go to the toilet. Now, I know that my body is clean. I've had a shower. I know that I'm not disease-ridden. I know that I won't spread anything onto anybody else. However, it is good practice and hygiene to wash your hands when you finish. But there's a lot of people that don't. I was doing a comedy gig a few nights ago at a pub, and there were people there in a beer garden, all having a bit of a drink and a smoke and so forth. Anyway, I'm at the urinal doing my thing. Another guy comes into the urinal. He stands there. He does his thing. I finish my business. I walk to the sink. I start washing my hands. He finishes his, and he just zips up and walks out the fucking door. You know what? The media has instilled widespread panic into the society right now, and it comes down to one thing, you idiot. Basic hygiene. Wash your hands, you fucking moron. If anyone's going to be spreading this disease, it's assholes like you. In fact, if anyone deserves to die from diseases, it's assholes like you. People who are actually spreading the virus. I've got a friend who works at an optometrist. She had a call from a client the other day saying, listen, I'm on new contact lenses in. I want to know, I was meant to be there today, but I'm really, really sick. Now, she said, oh yeah, I'll just check for you. Yes, they have come in. The lady said, okay, fantastic. I've been tested for the C virus, okay? So I won't come in today, but I'll come in tomorrow and collect them. Hang on a minute. If you've been tested and you're waiting your results back, why would you then walk out of your door and possibly infect other people? That is called being a brain-dead, stupid fucktard, people. An absolute fucktard. Now, if you've got a cold or a flu, what are the things that you do? You stay at home. You stay in bed, you stay warm, you keep your liquids up, you don't eat very much, and more importantly, you don't go to work and you don't have contact with many people. Why? Because you want to get over the symptoms yourself and you don't want to pass it on to other people. In fact, you don't even want to pass it on to your family, let alone friends and family and strangers on the street or in the workplace. So then why are people, with the knowledge that they've got about this particular virus being a stronger virus than others, why are they still happily going out onto the street and doing their thing? That is irresponsible, you fucking moron. Now, on this channel, whenever I start doing these rants, the word that you're going to start hearing more often these days is fucktard. I believe that that is a wonderful way of actually describing people and humanity. People who don't use their brains, people who are as thick as absolute shit. And there are so many of them out there. And the worst thing about this, people, is there is no cure for fucktardery. You cannot cure stupid. In fact, there are so many dumb cunts in the world, there will never be an antidote to protect anyone from being a dumb cunt. As John Cleese even said, if you're very, very stupid, and I'll just say, in my words, if you're a fucktard, you're going to find it very hard to realise that you are a fucktard. Because realising that you're a fucktard requires some degree of intelligence. And unfortunately, this is the case. Yes, they will eventually find the antidote, the vaccine for the C word and anything else that comes up in our lives. But will they ever find a cure for fucktardery? No, absolutely not. In fact, you know what? Sometimes it's good that we have viruses like this. I'm going to say virus because it's not a plague. Media, get that through your skulls. It's a virus, not a plague. We're not all going to die. People who have already got this particular virus have recovered. In fact, yesterday on Facebook, I saw a statement saying that China had released almost 34,000 people who had the virus who had fully recovered. Now, if it was a deadly virus, as we're all being told, then those numbers would not be so high for recovery. The numbers of people dying would be far, far greater than the number of people who are recovering. Now, I've lost my train of thought, so where actually was I? Yes, there is no cure for being an absolute dumbass, and if this virus is going to wipe anyone on this planet out, it deserves to be the people who are the fucktards, the people who are stupid, the people who will happily leave their houses and go into restaurants and go to their workplaces and go anywhere else knowing that they are sick, knowing that they are carriers of any virus and willingly spreading it because they are so selfish. And the same thing with the panic buying. It just goes to show you how greedy society is, how selfish society is. We are all for ourselves. We're not all for one and one for all. It's all about me and fuck you all. Imagine if society and the communities have had that particular outlook on life during the outbreak of World War II, 1939. Hitler is invading the world. What happened? Communities banded together. Now yes, food and supplies were rationed. It was wartime. You really had no choice. But people were there for each other. Communities wanted to be there and support each other because they knew that by doing that, they would get through it together as families, as friends, as neighbours, as communities. But this whole virus outbreak that we are experiencing right now, which I personally blame the media for, has just proven that everyone is out for themselves. How many people have we seen on the news and in photographs carting out shopping trolleys full of nothing but toilet paper? How selfish is that? And now it's gone into other things. Biscuits, chips, pasta, rice, meats. It's every person for themselves. There is no such thing at the moment as camaraderie or helping other people out. It's all about me, 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 and fuck you. And here's another thing. If you do have a cold or a flu, if you get the C virus or anything else like that, if you are suffering from a cold or a flu, you don't want to eat very much. Think about whenever you had a cold last. How much do you eat? Not very much at all. You drink a lot of liquids because you need hydration. My mum always used to make me chicken soup because they always used to say the chicken soup is good for the soul and it was really good for your immune system. Now whether that's true or not, who cares? It's an old mother's tale. It might actually work. The point is, it's hydration. You don't eat a lot of food. Yes, there are people in the world right now who are being threatened with lockdown. Italy's in lockdown at the moment. Where I live in Australia, we are now officially in a state of emergency and we could potentially go into lockdown for several weeks, which I hope doesn't happen. But unfortunately, the fucktards are in charge and thank you media, we're probably heading in that direction. So of course, yes, people do need to have supplies and provisions in their houses, but do they need as much as they have been buying? Absolutely not. We are not going to survive this virus or anything else like that if we are all in it for each other. We need to band together as people and as communities, and this whole mentality is bullshit. All we have proven to each other is that at times of actual struggle, at times of a potential crisis, we don't give a fuck about anybody else. And tell me, what hope has humanity got moving forward if we are in it for each other? And if you're one of these people who have bought into the panic buying and you've argued with people and how dare you take that, it's mine, you're a fucktard and you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, is the world going to get over this sea crisis? Absolutely. Absolutely we will. I'll tell you why. Because number one, as I said before, it is a virus. That's all it is. It's not the plague, it's not the Black Death, it's not going to wipe out all of humanity. Scientific research has improved so much since all those years, we are no longer going to be threatened as a species with a virus. People are starting to compare the C virus to the Spanish flu. Well, you know what? At the end of the Spanish flu, when that thing outbroke, I think it was 1918 or 1919, the entire world had come away from World War I. Everything had been destroyed, just like in other wars. Rations and food and supplies and everything like that, they were all limited. There was disease everywhere, and the Spanish flu came along and wiped out over 50 million people. Did they have the vaccines available? Did they have the scientific technology of the day? No, they didn't. And it spread around the world and people did die. Could that happen these days? Well, you know what? Maybe a plague could take half the population out. So yes, a plague would be an awful thing for humanity. But a virus these days can be fairly well kept under control. If you are healthy, if you've got a strong immune system, if you can breathe properly, you will recover from this virus, just like any other virus. There's no need to panic. So do yourself a favour, do society a favour, and stop buying into the media bullshit. We used to have this war on terrorism, a war on drugs and everything else like that. Well, I think now we need a war on the media. It's your choice, people. Start with this one. Stop watching the news, because all the news does is control you. We are heading for 3 major crises now in the world, or crises, however you want to say it. We're heading for 3 major ones. The first one is going to be the worldwide health crisis, which we are already starting to see right now. It's playing out with this panic of people buying this and buying that. That's going to lead to lockdowns. Italy's in a lockdown. We're faced with a potential lockdown here in Victoria, Australia. It's going to happen all over the world, no doubt. So that's going to lead to crisis number 2, an economic crisis, where people are going to start losing their jobs. People are going to start losing their income. It's happening to my friends. I was talking to a friend last night. He has already lost 100% of his revenue. 100% of how that man makes his living has now been cut off because of the panic and scare that this virus has due to the media. Now, yes, people don't want it to spread, but there are different ways of containing it, and it is such a huge overkill in my opinion. And the third thing that's going to happen is a financial crisis, and that really is a no-brainer. And what does that mean? Well, the world is going to be heading into a major recession, if not a depression. A depression that some people are already saying would be worse than the Great Depression of the late 1920s and the 1930s. Something that we have not experienced in our lifetimes. And I personally blame the media. So to Rupert Murdoch and all those other media moguls out there and the journalists who think that they're doing their job, well done, you fucking dumb cunts. You guys deserve the medal for fucktardery because you are the ones who have put fear into the entire world. People are bought into the fear, and now we're seeing widespread panic, and this could last for a very long time. So the best way that you can handle this C virus outbreak is use your fucking brains. Develop that thing that they used to have all those decades ago called common sense. We all know it's not very common these days. We all tell each other that, oh, I've got common sense, it's not common, but unfortunately there are people out there, probably just like you, who have forgotten what common sense is. In a day and age where we all feel entitled and I'm offended and I have rights and my gender this. Grow the fuck up. Use your brain, have some common sense. If you feel sick, stay home. The biggest thing, guys, is eat healthy. I mentioned before, people are buying all this crap in the supermarkets. If you are sick, you don't want to eat things like chips and biscuits and pasta and rice, because if you're sick, you just want to rest and have liquids. Eat healthy food. Go out there and buy some bananas. Go out there and buy oranges. Get some vitamin C. Walk out into your backyard. Get some sunlight for 15 minutes. Vitamin D. Those are the things that keep you healthy, not pasta, rice and chips. Use your fucking brain. If you're sick, stay away from people. Stay at home. Stay warm. Be a good person. Don't be a fucktard. There you go, I finally got through that. If you have been brave enough to stay to the very end of the video, then I do applaud you. It shows me that you are not a fucktard, or you may realise that you are a fucktard and you don't want to be one. So guys, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be making a lot of content, and if we're going to lockdown, let's face it, what else are we going to be doing? So hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so that you're notified every single time that I make a video, or Milton and Mick make videos as well. We are going to be giving you videos every single week, and our aim is going to be twice a week now. So moving forward, there will be at least 2 videos uploaded to this channel every single week. Okay, until that time, don't be a fucktard. So give this video a like as well, and if there's anyone that you know who is a bit of a fucktard or a dumb cunt, share this video with them. Don't tell them that you think that they're a fucktard, just share the video with them, just so they can listen and learn as well. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think about this, whether your ideas are for what I have to say or against it. Maybe there's a few of you out there that think I'm talking absolute rubbish, and maybe there's a few of you out there that are thinking to themselves, wow, I feel exactly the same. Well, I want to hear from you, so leave a comment below, like this video, subscribe, don't be a fucktard, and I'll see you next time. Get the fuck out.